Welcome here, 2015 NXL World Cup. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez, and it's about to go down, the quarterfinals. Todd, this is what we've been waiting for. We've waited all year long to see what teams were going to show up here at World Cup, and it's Chicago Aftershock and X Factor, and then Houston Heat and Impact, as well as Damage versus Dynasty, and 187 Crew versus AC Dallas. So before we get into this match just moments away, let's take a look at the results from yesterday morning. So Damage defeated Impact 5-3. And then it was 7-0, demolishing Red Legion, took down the Outlaws. Legion not able to make it through, though they had a pretty good event. AC Dallas, they're here on Sunday morning, 5-1 over Revo. And then had a couple of 3 OT matches as Shock defeated Infamous. Aftershock going 4-0 in the prelims. And then let's look at the afternoon results as well. You can see Thunder taking down X Factor, and Thunder played well, man. They went 2-2, but not enough to make it here into Sunday's competition. And then you can see the rest of those results. 187 Crew, they are here this morning. Dynasty lost to Houston Heat, and you can see all the rest of those scores. And let's take a look at what we, the battles that we are going to see this morning here in the quarterfinals. Now it is do or die time. If you lose, that's it. Your tournament's over. Your World Cup hopes have died. You have to win this game to progress to the semifinals. So it's going to be Dynasty and Damage, Aftershock X Factor, 187 Crew AC Dallas, and Houston Heat and Impact. Can't wait to see what's going to go down. The first set coming at you, X Factor and Shock. Todd, what do you think about this matchup?
Man, I can't wait to see what's going to happen here. You know, it's been a while since we've seen Aftershock really play the way that we know that they can play. Everybody out there contributing, communicating, playing aggressive, and, you know, really playing smart, playing as a unit. X Factor has been, you know, the bridesmaid all season long. You know, they've made 2 second places, both coming to Impact, and, you know, but they've been playing really solid. Colt Roberts, you know, had a little injury scare yesterday, but he's on the field right now.
Billy Bernaccia getting checked out by the referee. In that back corner bunker, and it looks like Rob Velez, the first to come off of Chicago Aftershock. So it's 4-on-4. Oh, and Archie, no, Kovar tries to get to the snake for San Antonio X Factor. He gets shot on the fill. Billy Bernaccia still alive. You can see there on the right-hand side that Chicago Aftershock. On the left of your screen, X Factor. These teams battling for position. No one in the snake for either team. Both teams have lost a body. It's 4-on-4.
Colt Roberts comes walking off the field.
Colt Roberts, you know, we didn't know if he was going to be playing, but he's out there for his team, but coming off early. 3-on-4 right now, Todd.
Yeah, got to be happy for Colt Roberts. You know, it wasn't major enough to keep him off the field. He's a tough guy, but, you know, it's good to see him out there, see him at full strength. But, you know, right now, there's Archie Montemayor. Here comes Ronnie Dizon, who's been charging down that Dorito side consistently. All event comes to get Archie Montemayor, but gets picked off on a quick snapshot by Archie right as he comes down the wire.
Billy Bernaccia in the snake right now is able to make it out there from that back corner bunker. No one in the snake for Aftershock, and then Aftershock fills in. AJ Lawhead, captain of the team, shooting cross field. Now matching up with Billy down that wire. Billy still in snake 1. Mirrored up with Lawhead. Neither one of them has a back player. X Factor down to 2 bodies.
Yeah, Billy Bernaccia.
Lawhead
in that snake 1 by himself. Looking at his gun right now. Trying to get his gun back up.
Well, Lawhead's in notch 2 of the snake now, and Bernaccia trying to work on his gun right now. So that is not going to help X Factor out, because X Factor down to 2 bodies, and it looks like Lawhead gets that crossfield kill, so he's going to jump over his bunker, and X Factor is forced to concede the point. You can see a frustrated Billy Bernaccia as Archie Montemayor, the last player over there on that D side of the field, getting shot out. So first point is going to go to Chicago Aftershock.
And Chicago Aftershock, I saw some of their guys this morning. You know, they feel this is for real. You know, we talked to Billy Saransky, you know, a couple nights ago, and, you know, I played with Aftershock. I won a World Cup with Aftershock, that last 10-man. And, you know, there's just something magical about Aftershock here. And, you know, it's been gone for a while, but, you know, it was something that the team really believed in, the organization, how much, you know, they really cared about World Cup, and it was everything to the team, and they just had this special feeling every time they came here. And, you know, you see the looks in some of these guys' eyes, and it kind of, you know, they're feeling really good about the way that they've been playing and, you know, this event. So, you know, it'd be kind of cool to see Aftershock go far out here, but you know, they had a tough task in front of them with X Factor. Edmonton Impact losing Justin Rabikoff off the break, playing against Houston Heat out here right now. Houston Heat's been playing this pocket play better than anybody else out here, shooting the bounce shots, getting kills and getting penalties on those bounce shots.
Houston Heat still 5 bodies alive. Oh, they lose. Looks like Alexander Burtnikov in that center, so he's going to have to walk off. They also lose Greg Sewers, so just 3 players left alive. It's Fedorov, Sergey, and Mishka locked in those 3 center bunkers. And on your screen, there goes Fedorov. He launches up 1 bunker here towards the snake side of the field. No one in the snake right now for Impact, even though Impact does have a slight 1-body advantage here. So they lost Justin Rabikoff. Chad Bougier is trying to get out here towards the D side, and he does. Streaks out wide, puts a guy in and goes. He's able to make it in there, and then Impact doubling up that center and then going over to help out Chad. So nice little couple quick bumps here for Edmonton Impact to get out on that D side of the field.
Yeah, nice move there by Chad Bougier to back up off of that tower and put in Sergey Solnyshkov. Konstantin Fedorov catches a ball. He comes walking off. That's another kill, and then Justin Cornell comes out wide on the snake side and shoots Sergey Solnyshkov.
So Edmonton Impact looking good here in this first point. Nice work by Justin Cornell and Dave Baines. It looks like Womet, no, I think that was Yakimek, and then Chad Bougier. So let's check out this replay here. So there's Konstantin Fedorov for Houston Heat shooting towards that D side of the field. He saw Chad Bougier get over there on that side, and then gets that shot on. That's not much. There wasn't a lot of bodies left, and Impact did make those small little moves, and that's what you're going to see here today. You are going to see those little moves. Not really. It's going to be tough today. Everyone now has had a full 4 games playing, and then also tons of games to watch to figure out their game plans out here. So it's going to be tough to make those big, huge moves. We'll see them eventually, but it's just going to be difficult. Back into this X Factor Chicago Aftershock matchup. First point went to Aftershock, who again went undefeated in the prelims. And Ronnie Dizon was absolutely terror. He was just terrorizing that D side of the field. Best player by far on that side. And he's over there right now in D1. It looks like Chicago Aftershock loses Chris Sosine, though. That's going to slow things down for Dizon. Doesn't have a back player over there anymore. Here comes Lawhead into the snake. Looking at Kovar on your screen for X Factor, trying to fight to get in there. And there's Lawhead. Look at Kovar, top of your screen.
Archie Montemayor taking over front Dorito duties for X Factor. Breaks out to the Dorito corner on the break, and now he's in Dorito 1. Looks like Colt Roberts getting a break over here. Archie Montemayor going to go heads up with Dizon over there on the Dorito side. Kovar getting into Snake 1, matching up with Lawhead. 1 body down for Chicago Aftershock. X Factor losing their first body. 4-on-4 situation right now.
Kovar able to make it into the snake. Goff right beside him. Goff played very well in the prelims. Been playing great pretty much most of this year for X Factor. That's why he's out there starting this game, starting this point. And looks like Dizon makes his move on the D side up to D2. He does have a support player who came over to help him. Woodley in the center. It's Rob Velez over there. Rob Velez had a standout performance for Shock in the prelims, really becoming one of their best other players out there in their starting 5. And you can see Archie Montemayor playing the 1 on the D side, backed up by Colt Roberts. And probably switched positions because Colt's still on that bum hamstring. Archie Montemayor makes his move to D3, and here's the D side matchup on this Dorito side of the field.
Shoots LJ Woodley out of that center can off that move to the D3, leaving just AJ Lawhead over here by himself. Velez again backs up to that Dorito side tower to try and watch over both sides. He's got Dizon up in the Doritos and Lawhead up in the Snake. 4-on-3 right now in favor of X Factor.
Now looking at the snake battle, Kovar versus Lawhead, AJ Lawhead from Chicago Aftershock, and there goes the bump out wide from Grayson Goff. That was a nice fill to help out Kovar, and he establishes a lane of fire, trying to keep Lawhead honest. Lawhead wraps around, puts Goff in. Lawhead now trying to do damage control all over the field.
Ooh, Ronnie Dizon with 2 quick kills, shoots Colt Roberts, and Archie Montemayor in front of him. Now he's got that whole Dorito side to himself, turns a 4-on-3 into a 3-on-2.
Nice work by Dizon. Dizon looking to move up to that 50-yard line on the D side. Lawhead shooting in front of him. You can see the move made by Kovar up a notch of the snake. He's at the 50-yard line right now. It's going to be up to Kovar to clock in to try to even this up.
Kovar just shot Dizon out of the 40 Dorito. It's Lawhead and Goff. Lawhead going heads up. Kovar, they're going to trade out in the snake.
And I think that's going to do it. Grayson Goff, I think he's the last player left alive, as Dizon did get shot cross field. So Dizon got a couple, but lost a couple bodies behind him, and then he got shot himself. So war of attrition here in this second point. And it looks like Grayson Goff will be the lone body left alive to go to hit that buzzer and tie this game up here. It's going to be 1-1.
X Factors, winners of the 2013 World Cup, looking to repeat out here. They want to get that magic going again here early Sunday. They said the prelims, you know, where the prelims, all you got to do is get to Sunday, and here they are trying to make another run at a title.
Let's check out this replay here. So there's Rob Velez, and just a little too far out there. Rob Velez looks like he got bounced. No, he got shot. Yeah, so Rob Velez, a little bit sloppy in that spot, trying to that gunfight, and this is Lawhead matched up against Goff and Kovar. Kovar launches.
20 seconds.
You can see there trades out with Lawhead. That was the right move. So Michael Kovar stepping up for X Factor. Heading back into this Houston Heat, Edmonton Impact match. It's Impact with 1, Heat 0. On the breakout. So you're going to see that pocket play, that double-double move, doubling up those 2 center bunkers, and then there goes Zach Yakimek launching. Fedorov walking off early, getting shot out of his spot. Greg Sewers is trying to get out wide to get to that D side, comes off his bunker and streaks out. He's going to get checked out by the ref. Burtnikov comes over here towards the snake side. Heat on your right, Impact on your left.
Greg Sewers running out to that Dorito corner, quickly bumping into Dorito 1. Mishka following up right behind him. Getting into that Dorito side tower. Bierdnikov and Slonishkov on the snake side, both switching back and forth. All 5 bodies left alive for Edmonton Impact. Impact, the end of yesterday, went with 1 line. Going to go 2 lines early this morning. Try and get everybody involved again, get everybody going. See who's going to show up and try and help them win a World Cup out here. We got Rainey Stanzak, Nick Laval, the Yakimek brothers, and Keith Brown. Nick Laval makes a move out to the Dorito side temple. Trying to go heads up, Greg Sewers. Greg comes on the inside, and I think Greg just shot Zane Yakimek. Zane's gonna walk off the field. There's Keith Brown. Rainey Stanzak on the backside. Zach Yakimek, number 10, in that forward snake side cam, looking across the field.
Keith Brown locked in a gunfight here with Houston Heat. Nobody looking to move here. Greg Sewers in D1, best field position of anybody on either team right now. You see that whole D side's pretty open for Impact. And there is Greg Sewers. Has Sergei Solnaiskov beside him, as well as Mishka. Alexander Burtnikov, the only player on this on the snake side. And he's in the center more than he's in the snake side.
Sergei bumps over to that tall tower so he can stand up and shoot towards the snake side, trying to keep Keith Brown from moving. Keith Brown ain't going anywhere with 3 guns pounding his way.
And there's that line on that D side of the field for Heat. Sewers, Mishka Kiesnev, and Sergei Solnaiskov. And there's Sergei.
There's Greg Sewers on your screen right there, wrapping around D1. Zach Yakimek in good position to shoot that Dorito 2 right before the pin. And the top right of your screen, trying to keep Greg from coming down the field, but Greg keeps playing the inside. A lot of bounce shots on this field. I'm sure we mentioned it once or twice so far, past couple days. You can just get to spots, hammer other bunkers.
Once or twice.
And the balls bounce off into other bunkers. Talked to Chad Bougere this morning a little bit about him on the field, and you know, there's even more than we even thought about. Could even imagine, even possibly imagine. It's crazy out there.
We had Nick Sloviak from 187 who we're going to see play in this next set, and he said every single point he played, he got bounced by a shot, and you know, coming off of another bunker. Not a direct drive shot, but a coordinated effort to try to bounce balls off other bunkers. Oh, looks like a kill coming off for Impact as Malloy, Alexander Burtnikov, gets into the snake here. I think he might have got another one.
Greg Sewers gets shot. Bierdnikov shoots Keith Brown. So 3-on-3 now. Bodies going back and forth, but Bierdnikov in good position here in Snake 2 now. He's got Sergei in front of him, or behind him. Laval makes that bump through Bierdnikov's gun, gets out to Dorito 1.
Yeah, huge move by Laval, because that's going to make Malloy have to worry a little bit more in the Snake now. You can see that lineup here on the D side. And in that center, there's Sergey and there's Mishka.
Mishka playing heads up, looking at Laval.
Real long point here. Impact with a 1-point lead. 10 minutes and 38 seconds to go. We're going to see a lot of these long points here. And these top teams matching up against each other. Zach Yakimek with a nice couple quick moves out here to get himself in position to try to contend with Burtnikov. And Burtnikov gets shot, I think, cross field by Nick Laval. Yeah, he did. He got shot in the pack, cross field by Nick Laval, and he didn't really give Laval much. So nice work by Nick.
There goes Sergey Solnyshkov. I feel like I see him more making moves up the field when they're down bodies than when they're
That's
not.
why they have him out there.
This guy is so good. He always sees the openings. He's really smart, really fast, makes his move. He's in snake one. Nick Laval making the move as well. He comes up into the 40 Dorito, gunning heads up against Mishka. Sergey looking across the field. Rainey staying focused on Sergey.
No, it's 3-on-2 right now, advantage Impact. And you can see there's the matchup here. Nick Laval on the D side, trying to get a shot on Mishka.
There's Nick Laval trying to get set. He's going to stay posted up down the wire. You can't see your mirror. They're mirrored up right now, but you cannot see your mirror straight up. You got to come out a little bit wide because that 50 Dorito is outset a little bit, you know, just enough so you can't see him. You got to come out wide and expose yourself to try and get a shot. There's Mishka. He's thinking about it. He's looking at Rainey. You can see Rainey, that little speck in the top right corner of your screen, and that tall tower in the back, shooting balls right over Mishka's top of Mishka's Dorito. Mishka going back and forth, listening for Sergey. Here comes Zach Yakimek. He's going to bump into snake one. Sergey looking across the field. Zach tries to get a shot across the field on Mishka. There's Zach reaching for pods.
And Rainey
doesn't find any.
Rainey's head checking back and forth, trying to see, okay, where should I put my gun? Should I help Zach out? Should I help Nick out? He's got to be careful because Nick is much closer to Mishka than Zach Yakimek is to Sergey.
Yeah, and even though it's only a 1-point game, you know, this is Sunday. You know, you don't want to give away any free points. You can nurse a 1-point lead for as long as you have that body advantage.
Alive, yeah.
That's for sure. So Zach, Rainey, Laval, all very smart players. Rainey just got to keep his head on a swivel.
And I think, Todd, everyone's out of paint. Mishka doesn't have any paint. Looks like Sergey's out of paint. No, Sergey has a pod left. Oh, Nick Laval getting shot out by Mishka. So Mishka stepping up over there on that D side. So now it's 2-on-2.
And suddenly Heat has the field position advantage with Mishka out wide over there in Dorito 3. There's Mishka right there. Trying to find a shot, trying to decide what he wants to do. He jumps into the 50 Dorito. Randy Stanzak sees it, relays it. 7:36 left to go in this game.
And Sergey does have a pod. He has 1 pod left. He's about to load it. So Sergey is going to be, he's only going to have as much paint as he has in his hopper. Zach loaded his last pod long ago. And it looks like if we could get a shot on that D side at Mishka's pack to see how much paint he has. I can't imagine that Rainey has much paint left as he's been in that back bunker and shooting his gun the whole time. So you can see there over the top of Mishka. And I don't think Mishka has any paint left either.
Definitely not much. Let's get an overhead look directly into his loader. It's our eye in the sky cam. There's Mishka. He's making a move. He's going to come across. Ooh, does he get shot?
He does, and here comes the move. And it looks like Zach Yakimek tries to go the coast-to-coast run. He gets shot out by Sergey, and that's going to make it a one-on-one situation right now with Sergey and Rainey. So Sergey right now trying to survey the scene, try to figure out exactly how many bodies are left alive in front of him. He knows there's got to be at least 1 guy left alive, and there's Rainey on your screen who moved over 1 spot to try to make Sergey lose him. But yes, it's locked up in a one-on-one, so this could prolong this match even longer. And with 6 minutes and 26 seconds left to go, and not a lot of paint left, which means that they're not going to be engaging very much with each other. There goes Rainey. He moves over a spot. Sergey moves up a notch in the snake.
One-on-one situation right now.
You can see Rainey, as soon as he moved over to that D1, he went down real low and just posted up around that side, hoping that maybe Sergey would move over a spot.
Sergey reaches back to his back, and he dumped his last pod. He is out of paint, just has what's in his loader right now.
He's making double sure. He's kind of hoping, maybe I have 1 more pod back there.
Trying to make a decision. when you're the team that is down points, you can't let this clock go on and on and on and then lose the point.
Yeah, and you don't have to shoot the last body. You just have to hit that buzzer. But Rainey is right by their start station. He's only a couple bunkers over. There's Rainey, Stanzik on your screen. Such a consistent member for Edmonton Impact since he came over to the team not too long ago. But this is why they picked Rainey up. He's one of the smarter guys in the game.
Both of these guys are, you know, pretty similar players, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They play almost the exact same role on their squads.
Kind of tall, guys that can play all positions, guys that are deceptively fast, guys that are very versatile, guys that could play the front, the back, anywhere, either side.
Guys that can scrunch their tall bodies up in little bunkers.
Guys that are great at one-on-ones.
So Sergey is shooting one ball at a time over towards Rainey. Rainey hasn't shot a ball yet towards Sergey, which tells me that he may not have very many paintballs left at all. He may be down to maybe a dozen left in his hopper.
Well, if the ones he has, he's definitely going to try and make those count.
And this is when you're also hoping as you move up the field that maybe you find a half-full pod.
I think it's a little early for that one.
Yeah.
We've played all of 3 points on this field so far.
Yeah, and also not going to be too many balls that are worth shooting left on the ground either.
From yesterday. But you definitely find that gift sometimes. Little Hunger Games package.
So now Sergey has moved up to the 50-yard line here, and it looks like Rainey has moved up to D2. So Rainey head checking Sergey. Did you see Sergey give him a little nod? Kind of looked at him and looked at each other, gave him a little what's up.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It's like, I know where you're at, and I know you know where I'm at. Rainey's probably like, yeah, and we have a point, you don't.
The game like the Heat Impact game in Cleveland was like this. You know, very slow. You know, it ended up being, you know, a situation very similar to this.
I'm not surprised that we're in this situation. I mean, these are two of the best teams in the world. Impact is the best team in the world. They've earned that right for us to say that as they have won the last 2 events here. Now Sergey's going to cut to the inside, close the gap a little bit here. Rainey backs up a spot to protect that bunker. Oh, and Sergey gets the shot on Rainey. Wow, what an amazing job by Sergey Solnaiskov as he's going to hit that buzzer and tie this game up, winning the one-on-one battle against Rainey Stanzik. You could see the frustration in the gambler, Rainey Stanzik, coming off. Definitely muttering under his breath, frustrated at his performance in that one-on-one there. They're going to have to reset as we see Aftershock and an X Factor coming out. They're tied up at 1 apiece as well. But Todd, what a crazy point.
Wow. After all that, let's check out this replay. So here's Zach. Zach made the move, didn't have to, but thought he had an opening and just got torn apart. He came from distance. Can't come that far against Sergey. So that's after Rainey has already been shot right there. But, you know, he tried to make that move through that zone.
And that replay brought to that just shows you how good Sergey is. That replay was brought to you by GI Sports. And now here into this next point, tied up at 1, 10 minutes and 56 seconds to go. 5 bodies alive for X Factor, and they're able to get Billy Bernacchi out wide here on the snake side, and they get D1 off the break. Looks like Carl Markowski getting a spin, so real aggressive breakout here in this point for X Factor.
And LJ Woodley wasting no time getting up in the center.
D-Zon coming off early for Shock, and that is a huge killer coming off the D side, so one of their most versatile attackers comes off. That gives a 1-body advantage to X Factor, and they've spread the field out wide.
X Factor with their speed demon, Carl Markowski, got out wide on the Dorito side for X Factor. He's now in Dorito 1, and he's got help behind him, but Michael Kovar dies off the snake side.
It's going to even the body count up. I think that might have been AJ Lawhead who got that shot, and he's the widest guy out over here, as you can see on your left-hand side of your screen. AJ Lawhead, number 27 for Chicago Aftershock, trying to get a shot on Billy Bernacchi. And now Grayson Goff moves up in the center, and Carl Markowski moves up to D2. You can see LJ Woodley for Shock there on the right-hand side of your screen as we're looking at this from the D-side angle. This is the opposite angle from our traditional view, and there's Woodley, who has definitely been decimating people in that center, but he got stuck at the pin because X Factor was able to make it out wide. That's going to be a tough spot for him. He's going to have to find a way to either get a kill out of there or move up or back, because he's not going to be able to stay alive from there. Carl continues to move up the D side, and if they can get Billy or Archie into the snake.
Well, he's committing to the snake side right now. He's got Rob Velez watching over him on the Dorito side. Looks like Chris Sosian going to make a bump out to Dorito 1. That's definitely going to help him out a little bit. But Grayson Goff made a bump up to that Dorito side center tower. And he's going to help, you know, Carl Markowski work down that side of the field. Carl's going to a little more freedom, but Billy Bernaccia taking one in the hand.
So who was that? That was either Lawhead or it might have been Woodley. I think it was Woodley. So nice job by Woodley to kill out the guy, stopping him from staying alive in that spot as Billy Bernaccia takes the walk. Just now 3 bodies left alive here for X Factor, and a 1-body advantage now. Initially starting down a body, it was 5-on-4 in favor of X Factor, but now it's 4-on-3 in favor of Chicago Aftershock.
AJ Lawhead right there, bottom of your screen, reaching back for pods. He's staying heads up. He's working with Woodley over here on the snake side. You see Velez in that tall tower working with Sosian down that Dorito side. 8:20 left to go in this game. Archie Montemayor fills out to that backside snake corner, and he gets shot on the move. John Woodley staying dedicated to his side the entire match, gets 2 crucial kills after going down a body early, and is going to put a point on the board for Chicago Aftershock.
Nice tenacity from Chicago Aftershock. They kept their composure, kept their heads about them there in that situation. They knew they were down a body. They lost you know, their knife over there on that D side of the field in Ronnie Dizon, and they were able to, you know, stay composed, get those kills, and some bad deaths for X Factor in a very important situation, tied up here in the quarterfinals. Let's check out this replay here, again brought to you by GI Sports. So there's Bernaccia. You can see Woodley there, the center of your screen. He's shooting towards that side. It was
that was Lawhead.
It was Lawhead. So nice work by Lawhead to shoot out Bernaccia. And then Montemayor is going to fill that same spot. He also got shot out as well. So, yeah, Chicago Aftershock, man. They came to play some paintball today. Nice gunfighting skills.
Shock needs Lawhead to play big today. He's their guy.
Well, as we get the start of this point, let's get a quick update from Lauren Kelly. Now, it looks like we're going to have to get back in. We'll get Lauren in here in a second. And so right now, it's all tied up and only 3 minutes left to go. And a first body to drop is for, looks like Houston Heat. Malloy walking off early again. No, another body coming off for Impact as well. So it's 4-on-4.
Josh Wimette dying for Edmonton Impact. Greg Sewers making a move into that Dorito side temple. There goes Justin Rabakoff coming on the hunt. And up to that second pin, Sewers makes his move into Dorito 1. He gets in there alive. Mishka filling out next to him into that Dorito temple. We got Chad George over here on the snake side with Sergey for Houston Heat. Chad George makes his bump.
Cornell getting caught on a head check. I think that was Greg Sewers. He's the guy shooting that way. So Cornell going to walk off.
Only 2 minutes left to go in this match after that long one-on-one between Sergey and Rainey. Chad Bougere gets out, doubled with Dave, and comes to the other back center spot to shoot across the field at Greg.
Yeah, Dave is just dumping pod after pod through the lane to keep Chad George out of the snake. And here comes Sergey up in that center of the field. And there's Chad George is going low, trying to wait for Dave's gun to get off him, but Dave has not stopped shooting his gun since the beginning of this point, which is why Chad George is still in that spot and not in the snake. And he needs to keep him there because they don't have anyone on this side. I mean, Chad Bougere is the closest guy, and he's right beside him in the center.
Oh, Justin Rabakoff gets shot out of that middle.
That might be a penalty, and that is going to be a major penalty on Edmonton Impact. Justin Rabakoff got shot in his leg and didn't get out, so that's going to pull Dave Baines and Chad Bougere out. Impact needs to blow that horn. They do. They concede the point with 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go, and the score is going to be 2-1 in favor of Houston Heat. So just a mental mistake there, it looked like from, I couldn't see J-Rab, he's blocked out from that spot, but I could see the referee calling the hit from across the field and running in. And, you know, he kept shooting his gun with the hit on his leg. That's a major penalty. And that looked like, though, that there were the 2 bodies to pull, so they'll start at full strength. Again, with 1 minute and 20 seconds left, you can see Dave Baines and Chad Bougere out there yelling at the referees. Also, Coach Jason Trojan's over there for Houston Heat.
20 seconds.
So let's check it out here. There's Justin Rabakoff. So he gets hit in the leg. He's still calling And it might have been, I mean, the only excuse I can give for Justin is maybe hit his knee pad and he didn't feel it. But I mean, he has that huge hit on his leg, and the referee's trying to call him out. And there's that major penalty pulled. 2-1 in favor of Aftershock right now with a lot of time left in this game.
Billy Bernaccia getting shot on the break, trying to go to that first snake side can. But Ronnie Dizon once again trying to get out wide, gets picked off. So 4-on-4, but Carl Markowski loses the gun battle. Looked like, actually he might have got shot on that bump going to Dorito 1.
So now just 3 bodies, Todd, left for X Factor. And this is not looking good now for X Factor. Is Shock, full court press here, 5 guns up.
Ooh, Archie Montemayor with a close one right by him. All these balls flying all over the place. Kovar, like he might have caught a bounce shot too. He comes walking off the field right on top of his head. So that's going to be another one for Chicago Aftershock. So Aftershock forcing the issue down the Dorito side, pushing hard. Sending Ronnie Dizon out there. 1 out of 3 so far. Sorry, 1 out of 4. Making it out there successful.
Well, it's not that, I mean, I don't really feel X Factor's playing bad. They're, you know, they're losing a couple guys out of their spots. They're losing more gunfights than X Factor, I'm sorry, than Aftershock, and that's been the story so far. I like the plays they've been coming with, and it's not like guys have been dying stupid. They're just getting shot in those gunfights. You have to obviously gunfight on this field. Gunfight, of course, it's paintball, but this is one of those fields where you can't just run through the lane. You have to be able to put your guy in and then be able to read and react through that lane. And right now, Aftershock's just playing better paintball.
So let's check out this replay real quick.
So we're looking at the back line right here for X Factor. There's Archie Montemayor dead center of your screen.
So that's when Archie, the ball whizzes by Archie. See if this actually hits him or not. Both he and Michael take one of these at the same time. So here's on Archie. Archie asks for a check. You don't really see a paint spray off. And then there's the one. Yeah, that came directly in on Kovar. Kovar gets the one on his head. Kovar gets pulled out.
Well, look at all that pressure that Shock is putting on those guys for X Factor. They're just real accurate with their shots right now.
Chris Sosine shooting across the field, picked off Billy Bernaccia on the break. That was definitely huge for that point. Heat up 2-1 right now. Justin Cornell going to try and make it out wide on the snake side. He does. Heat with the same game plan, staying in that pocket.
They lose Chad Bougier, impact down a body on that D side. Chad Bougier gets shot trying to get out wide, and here comes Justin Rabikoff, who played amazing up that center to get impact to this point, and been having a little bit of a rough go at it so far here in this match.
Justin Rabikoff going to try and keep Greg Sewers going out wide. 60 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, only a minute. Impact has to try to mount some sort of an attack. And it looks like they still have 4 bodies alive. No, they lose Rabikoff in the center, gets shot trying to wrap around. Chad George comes off, and then Fedorov's going to take his spot, and looks like Rainey's able to make it into the snake.
Fedorov bumping out. Looks like he might have taken one in the pack on the bump, asking for a check. Referee going to run there and check him. Not a whole lot of time.
Yeah, he's going to try to come off as slow as possible if he is hit, because there's only 29 seconds left to go. Rainey now wrapping around in notch 2 of the snake. But not a lot of bodies left. I think it might just be Rainey Stanzik left alive, because I see another body coming off for impact, and then Rainey gets shot. He has no choice, though. He had to push up, and it looks like Houston Heat is going to be taking this quarterfinal matchup here with just 12 seconds to go, and I don't see any bodies left.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. You know, it really kind of all came down to that one-on-one and all the time that it took off. You know, how crucial that point was. Houston Heat with a 3rd point, and that's going to do it.
So congratulations to Houston Heat, continuing their role. You know, they went into the Paris, the Millennium World Cup, and they had a great event there, won the tournament, and locked up the series title, and now they're just continuing that momentum here into the World Cup, the NXL World Cup. There are 300 teams here, and Houston Heat fighting to be at the tippy top of that mountain.
Yeah, Houston Heat knocked off Edmonton Impact in the semifinals of that event to get to the finals. And knocking them out essentially is what gave them the overall series title.
when we had the draw yesterday and it found out that it was Houston Heat playing Impact, and we told as soon as those guys saw it, they're like, yeah, of course it's going to be Heat versus Impact.
Did they hang that last, hit that last buzzer, or did they let time run out?
I couldn't quite see it. I think time ran out.
Okay, so it's going to be a 2-1 win over Impact.
So now back in this Aftershock game, there's a decent amount of time left in this game. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. And
Archie and Michael getting shot on the break for X Factor. Aftershock just blowing them up on the break. But LJ Woodley, he goes up the middle and he gets shot, I believe, by Colt Roberts, who made the bump out to Dorito 1. Bernaccia, Goff, and Roberts alive for X Factor. We got Sosine, Lawhead. Dizon gets out there alive to that Dorito side where he's been so efficient for Chicago Aftershock. He's in Dorito 1. Colt Roberts on the move immediately into Dorito 3. He's going to wrap around on Sosine immediately. Aftershock trying to find their other body. We got Lawhead, Sosine, and Dizon. I didn't see anybody else walk off besides Woodley, unless he's doubled up with Sosine. But Bernaccia looking on the inside. Goff blocking off the snake side for X Factor. Colt Roberts trying to make those moves. There's the overhead shot of Colt. He's going to come on the inside, playing on that tweaked hamstring from yesterday. Trying to get a shot in on Lawhead. Gun battling with Lawhead right now, who's over here on the snake side in the can.
And with this lead that they have, X Factor, Aftershock, they don't need to do anything. It's all up to X Factor. X Factor has to be, they have to push forward. They have to play aggressive. And Aftershock really looking phenomenal so far at this event and phenomenal in this game. You know, they took 15th at the Virginia Beach Open and then 9th at the Great Lakes Open.
Yeah, you know, definitely had some work to do, you know, get their guys back where they were, you know, the past couple years. Once we saw the reemergence of Shock, them come back together as a team, them getting Dizon and Woodley has definitely been a big upgrade for them.
Yeah, vast.
Chemistry with Lawhead and Sosine already.
Yeah, just a vast improvement, though, in a short amount of time with that 15th and 9th place finishes at the first two NXL events, and now trying to get into at least take top 4 if they can defeat X Factor and still have a shot to move on to that final match. And the way they're playing, I mean, they're a favorite right now for sure.
I think this is a 3-on-3 because their other guy would have been in the middle, and there's nobody there. Melez probably got shot on the break, didn't catch it. Yeah, because there's the only 3 bodies for Aftershock. Dizon, Lawhead on the bottom left, Sosine in the tower, and Dizon now in Dorito 2. But time on the side of Aftershock right now as they hold a 2-point lead. But X Factor.
Major penalty on Aftershock right now. And that is Lawhead who draws a major penalty, which pulls out Sosine and Dizon. And that is going to make it a 1-point game here. So lightning strikes. Aftershock, major penalty, and that's going to open the door for X Factor a little bit. They're still down by 1, and Aftershock did have enough bodies to pull on that major, so they will start at full strength. But a little bit of winds of fate blowing towards X Factor's side. Let's check out this replay here. See this penalty on Lawhead. So there's Lawhead, bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and you can see there he's talking it up with Sosine. Let's see where this hit comes. So. Okay, so he just got nicked right there. You can see that paint blow up off of him, and he's still in there. You see, run it back, and you can see the spray coming off his right shoulder area, I think. So, yeah, watch it. Play it out from here, I believe. So there's Lawhead. He's looking towards that D side, talking it up, and you'll see that spray come off the right-hand side of his body. Bam, right there. Yeah. And obviously not a great angle to be able to see the hit, but you could see the spray come off. And the referee in there checking him out, getting a look at it, and he's going to decide which type of penalty it's going to be, and it's going to be a major. So let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
Thanks. I am here with Sam Monville. Sam, congratulations on that win. You guys just knocked Impact out, which is a huge win, not just for you guys to move forward, but just knocking the team everybody wants to be out of this World Cup.
Definitely.
You were talking to me a little bit about feeling sick to your stomach and the emotional stress you go through while watching a match like this. Tell me about that.
It's one of those things where it's like the highs and lows are so big that you do get sick to your stomach. It's all the stress, and nobody really thinks about how much preparation goes into these 3 days, and it's to see it possibly slip out of your hands, you get sick to your stomach. It's the worst feeling, but when you do pull it off, it's the best feeling. There is no thing that can compare to that feeling. And, you know, as Heat and Impact, there's a lot of eyes on us. You know, we are the ones that people like, you're supposed to win, and when you don't, there's a lot of people that knock on you and stuff, but when you do pull it off, it's just, hey, you know, you were supposed to do that. So it's to meet up with them that early and pull it off, you know, hopefully it can just be the ending of a season the way we want it to be.
All right, well, congratulations. Heat did win that one and will be moving on. We'll see who will be moving on with them just in a second. Back to you guys.
Well, the stressful part is that 10-minute one-on-one, right? You know, when you're on the sideline and there's nothing you can do, and you're down a point, and you're watching one of your best guys go head-to-head with one of their best guys, you know, that's the part that's tough. You know, I think that's what he's talking about. But then when you see the ball break on Rainey, he goes, oh, that's the amazing feeling that you get. But still early in the event for Houston Heat. A couple more games to finish if they're going to win this thing. Aftershock and X Factor both trying to get the same goal.
Got to win.
Heat
Got to win 3 games on Sunday to win the tournament in the pros. Looks like a body coming off early for X Factor, and that is Colt Roberts. So one of their big guns comes off. And Aftershock trying to seal the deal here and move on themselves. 3 minutes and 53 seconds to go, and up by a point. Looking at Aftershock's line on your screen, there's Woodley in the center, and it looks like the point is going to be conceded. You could see a very happy Aftershock right now, going up 2 against X Factor with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
2 minutes.
And Chicago Aftershock, after getting that major, come right back out strong. Shoot a body on the break. Shoot Colt Roberts, you know, just after that, put X Factor in a bad position off the break, and then, you know, as soon as Archie got shot, Ryan Brand went and blew that horn because he's trying to save as much time as he can. Let's check out this replay. Here's Kovar, there's Archie. Archie's trying to shoot heads up, and he gets picked off. And walk off, and then there goes the horn.
No one really having a good game on X Factor right now. Would you agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I mean, they've been, Aftershock has shot at least one body on the break every point.
Every single point. Every
and
point.
then, if not, and every single person that has come up here this weekend has told us as soon as you lose that first body, it makes everybody have to readjust. You know, it's always like that for sure, but because of the way that this field has been designed and all the bounce shots, you know, people are holding lanes that they wouldn't normally hold. People are shooting shots that they wouldn't normally hold. It's not a whole lot of heads up. You know, there's a lot of just hide and try and shoot your gun at something that might bounce off into something else because so much stuff is bouncing off into your face. I wouldn't be surprised if that Lawhead major was a bounce shot and the reason why he didn't. I mean, because you saw Lawhead just standing there, you know, just barely even moving. If he took a direct hit in his goggles where all the paint was, then, you know, he's going to walk off. So, I mean, that's what people have been saying. You just don't feel the bounce shots. You don't feel the paint come off on you.
Yeah, and Sloviak, Nick Sloviak from Up to 187, who we're going to watch play AC Dallas in this next quarterfinal set, he had said that you know, he felt that those bounce shots were coming in hard and felt like he was getting shot, but I've just seen so many guys do exactly what Lawhead. The only logical explanation is that those hits aren't coming in as hot as a direct shot would, and that's why they're not feeling them as direct hits and why they're not reacting like they would to a normal hit, which is how they're drawing these penalties, because we've seen it every single game out here.
Oh, different look now for Aftershock. Nice call to get 5 bodies left alive and get guns on the break. X Factor trying to go to the snake on the break. They send Billy Bernaccia. He's going to get pulled. He didn't make it, but they make it out to the corner with Kovar. Archie fills in next to him to that snake side can. They're still doubled up in the tower on the Dorito side with Goff and Roberts. But 5 bodies, 3 across the back for Shock and 2 up in the front in the middle. For Shock, they got Woodley in that second pin, Dizon in the Dorito side tower. So all those bodies, 3 minutes left to go, and a 2-point lead. And once again, Shock being down a body. As He's going to have to try and push into bodies. Oh, but they shoot Lawhead, so now it's 4-on-4. Lawhead, the widest guy, out on the snake side for Aftershock. Kovar now with good field position in the snake side corner.
And Woodley up in that center again. And there goes Velez taking the early walk.
Oh, but Archie getting shot in the goggles just as soon as he tried to make the bump to the snake.
It's been a rough game for Archie. Here comes Colt Roberts. Colt Roberts coming up to the center, and then he's going to launch to the 50, and it looks like Michael Kovar is still alive. Lawhead walking off. And this is the chance here for X Factor with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it looks like they take out Woodley, but Kovar dies as well.
Sosine shoots Kovar. Colt Roberts goes up to the A and shoots Woodley underneath. Colt Roberts is wheeling and dealing, but he looks like he's going to get a major. Referee going to call a major for him. It looks like he had paint on his leg. Might have got something on the exchange underneath the A. That's the only hit that I could see that he had. But the referee calling that major, that's going to cost X Factor, but Colt was the only one over here just trying to do whatever he could. 5-2 now in favor of Aftershock, and Aftershock is determined out here, Maddie, right now. Doing a really good job.
As soon as they saw that major thrown, their entire pit just exploded with excitement, knowing that they probably just sealed their deal to move on here to the semifinals along with Houston Heat. We still have Tampa Bay Damage and Dynasty, 187 Crew and AC Dallas to play the next set of the quarterfinals. But yeah, that Colt Roberts major penalty might have just put Chicago Aftershock into the semifinals for the first time in a long time. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but if you're Colt, you seeing bodies drop around you, you know there's not a lot of time left and you're down by a couple points. That's when, unfortunately, you have to start playing that gray area. I saw the paint on his leg, but I couldn't see where it came from. Not quite exactly sure. Maybe we might be able to get a replay of that.
All right.
So let's maybe check out this replay. This might be it. So this is from the D side angle, though, and Colt was on that opposite side of the field. So there's Woodley. He gets shot. So Woodley's going to come off. Gets shot in his arm. Doesn't play on. Okay, there's Colt. So you can see Colt there. He's on the snake side of the 50, and
yeah, it was Dizon from that tower underneath the A. Shot him on the inside of his left leg.
Yeah, I just can't see. Can you see the hit from this angle?
I saw it from this angle.
I saw it from this. I saw it live from this angle.
Right when he went, into that A, you saw Dizon kneel down real quick and shoot a stream underneath the A, and then gave one of those, "Hey, I shot that, guys." Little did he know that the ref was already running in to throw that major.
Well, Colt didn't protest much, so maybe he felt he deserved it. You never know.
2 seconds.
But still, the situation out here for Chicago Aftershock is all they need to do is just hold on, because it's coming. X Factor, no choice but to push forward. And with that major, well, they only have 3 bodies, so they're not going to be able to do much here in this point, or they try to get out wide. So they send Carl Markowski, their fastest player, out wide, but he gets shot. Still Colt Roberts and Archie Montemayor, the 2 best players on X Factor.
And after that major penalty, X Factor had to play down 2 bodies. Colt was the last body, so they started with 3, and Carl got shot on the break, so instantly blowing that horn. X Factor gonna concede another point. 6-2 now in favor of Aftershock. Maddie, our team's looking around right now at Aftershock going, oh, are we gonna have to worry about these guys?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If they weren't already, after watching the prelim matches, I mean, Shock was by far one of the most dominant teams, if not the most dominant team in the prelims. The only other team you might be able to say was as dominant as they were was Houston Heat, because of the beating that Houston Heat put on Dynasty yesterday. No, Dynasty's still alive in this event. They only lost 1 game, and it was against Heat. Dynasty went 3-1, and they're going to be taking on Damage. And Damage, that should be a really good game. Dynasty, again, looking really good.
Well, the 2 teams that went 4-0 in the prelims both won their games here this morning, and they're going to face each other in the next round, I believe. I might have to recheck on that. Don't quote me on that yet.
Well, it's great to see Damage make it to Sunday, too, because Damage losing Brian Smith for this event, one of their longtime veterans, one of their best players, and picking up some rookies this year, and Kyle Berry Waring, and Silos Cortez. And Waring played pretty well, a little hit or miss. Cortez got in the snake a little bit. He still needs to get a little bit more consistent. But Everett's playing great right now for Damage, of course, the Edwards brothers. And Damage, definitely going to give Dynasty a run for their money.
Yeah, it's going to, I want to see what Damage team we're going to see here today. When they were shooting people off the break early, just like Aftershock was, they were being really aggressive, making those spots. We saw Jacob Edwards running down that Dorito side a lot. But, they're going to need contributions from everybody. And the best we saw them was when they had Waring in there getting kills, Barry in there getting kills, the Edwards brothers playing like they do. And, really with a solid game, solid attack from all sides. So we'll find out here in a minute once we conclude this game. X Factor trying to do what they can to put some points on the board. Only a minute and 45 left to go. And looks like they're going to get a minor penalty. I'm not sure who it was on. Might have been Carl. But Archie running all around the field trying to get kills.
It is just not X Factor's day today.
I'm telling you, man, Aftershock, they had that World Cup magic for so long. We talked about it. And I don't know. I mean, it's definitely been a while. They went through a supreme rebuilding phase.
Well, talk to me a little bit. Let's define that a little bit. Let's define that, because I played against Aftershock in a lot of World Cups, lost to them in the finals before, and it kind of quantify that. What does that magic really mean?
Well, there would be events where Aftershock would go seasons where Aftershock would look good but not quite have it. But they always looked at World Cup like it was their event, and they'd show up to World Cup and everybody would be on top of their game. Like I said, Billy Saransky said he had 9 World Cup wins with Chicago Aftershock, and obviously that's through the 90s, and the early 2000s. Not X-Ball ones, not X-Ball World Cups, but
yeah, not in the current incarnation of paintball, but still at the time, the best tournament you could play.
Yeah,
by far
the best tournament you could play. And Aftershock, they always. It's hard to explain, like when we won that 10-man in 2002, the last 10-man World Cup. I'm going on to play on Sunday. I'm 22 years old. I'm super nervous, and John Jackson, Spud Jackson, not John Jackson from AC Dallas, comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, you guys are gonna win today." And I looked at him and he was dead serious, and I was so nervous. And then I looked at him when he said that to me. The feeling that I got was like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna win today." Like he 110% believed, like he knew,
completely convinced.
Like he said it like it was a fact.
Like he had his magic 8 ball,
like it
and he had shook it up. And we're gonna win World Cup, definitely.
Yes, you're definitely winning. And I was like, man, we're gonna win. And we ended up winning. But I mean, it's hard to explain that feeling, But that's what I mean when I say World Cup magic, because the way these guys believe. And a couple of guys this morning, none of these guys were, probably all. Just running around in middle school, at that time. But just, that feeling, that understanding, and that's when everybody talks about that mental edge, that mental game in paintball, that's what we're talking about.
So on the breakout now, another minute to go here in this Aftershock victory. No way X Factor can get back in this match playing it for pride. They're going to get up in the snake, or get up in the 50-yard line with Archie Montemayor. Grayson Goff still alive on that D side. Here comes Kovar all the way to the 50-yard line. And Lawhead trying to get to the snake for Aftershock. Looks like Velez is going to get polished off in the center. Gets triple tapped. And that leaves just Woodley and Sosine left alive to try to take as much time off this clock as possible.
Yeah, man, it's really hard to win consistently in this league. And X Factor took second in Cleveland, second in Virginia Beach. Yeah, and they look pretty good out here, to start the prelims. But Chicago Aftershock is just having an event right now.
Well, what's unfortunately sad for X Factor that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet today is that because they had the 2 second place finishes against Impact. So Impact won the first 2, and not sure exactly how the points are going down. I think if Impact hadn't made it in, then X Factor still had a chance to win the title. But now, for sure, that X Factor's getting knocked out, Impact should be able to seal up the title. Houston Heat obviously moving forward, but Houston Heat taking 9th in Virginia Beach, so not as close. They only scored 52 overall points. So believe that this should seal the deal for Impact as far as the overall NXL title is concerned. Well, let's check in with Lauren Kelly down in the pit.
Thanks. Aftershock just called that timeout, just taking time to get their breath. It's been a grind for them, but even though X Factor got that last point, they're all looking pretty beaten up in the pits. Carl Markowski is specifically extremely upset. He says he's hitting his bounce shots and the balls just aren't breaking. It's just a tough shot for him, but we'll see if they can get it together. Back to you guys.
They are not going to be able to get it together, unfortunately, with under a minute to go and down by 3 points. I believe there's around 50 seconds left, and it's going to be virtually impossible. So, Todd, how about this 187 Crew AC Dallas game coming up?
Well, they said that's the game they want. You know, they want to play AC Dallas. Obviously, they believe they can beat them. I think that, I mean, the beating that we saw 187 take against Thunder, you know, was pretty crazy, but I do feel like they've gotten better since that game. I feel like because they took that beating, you know, sometimes it was like Impact yesterday. You know, they looked kind of not Impact-ish, and then they lost a game, and then came right back and started playing like Impact again. You know, so I feel like ever since that that beating they took from Thunder, you know, they've been playing a lot better, more like we saw from them at the beginning of the year. But AC Dallas has been winning all these games, playing super slow points, just not engaging in a whole lot of gun battles, shooting the bounce shots, playing the pocket.
Well, how long do you think Max Trailer's foot's going to hold up? I think that's another question, too. Max Trailer, coming off a broken foot, just got cleared 10 days ago to be able to play this event. Only had one set of practices, one weekend, and has been out here. And I think Max Trailer is the MVP for Upton 187 Crew right now.
Oh, absolutely, so far, and they know it, too. You know, they said he's their spark plug. He's the guy that gets them going. And, you know, they definitely trust in him. And, you know, not having him at the last event, you saw what the difference was. Having him back here, even being injured, you know, he's hobbling his way up, getting kills, doing his job, and leading this team. You know, when you have the best player on your team playing to his potential, then it gets the rest of the guys going.
So just 36 seconds to go. Aftershock looking, trying to take this victory down, or up by 4, not 3 like I said before, but up by 4, and looks like Archie coming off early again. So Archie's struggling here in the quarterfinal matchup, and Kovar trying to get into the snake. You're looking in there in the center, there's Grayson Goff, there's Kovar, and it looks like a major penalty on Shock, so, but this is going to be the last point. Grayson Goff going to go and get shot. Does anyone left alive? Yes, it's looks like Carl Markowski.
Game finished.
And that is going to be the final score, 7-3 in favor of Chicago Aftershock. It's got to be a little bit of a bitter loss for Carl Markowski, who left Chicago Aftershock last season to come to San Antonio X Factor.
Well, considering even more, you know, Carl was playing every point on Shock. You know, and to come to X Factor and, you know, not really get as much playing time, you know, it's definitely got to be frustrating. But to come to World Cup now and, you know, lose to your old team always sucks. But we saw that a couple times already here as,
yeah.
You know, as Shock knocked out Infamous. The game where Impact lost to Damage, you know, was another one of those games where you have a lot of players losing their old team. But, hey, man, this is World Cup. Better bring your game, don't bring your name.
Yeah, and the Damage Dynasty game and the Upton 187 Crew AC Dallas, those are the two matches that are coming at you next here in the quarterfinals. And again, Dynasty had a pretty easy, not easy road, but the only stumble they really had was against Houston Heat. And in case you just joined us, we did speak to this a little bit earlier as these teams head out here to shake some hands. But Dynasty looking real solid, got to kind of give them the edge here in this game on paper against Tampa Bay Damage. And then Upton 187 Crew AC Dallas, kind of a toss-up there. Let's check out with Lauren Kelly.
Thanks. Congratulations to Shock there. I was talking to the owner of X Factor, Alex Martinez, and he was telling me that the guys just lost the fire coming into today. They seemed content with their season here at NXL, and he just didn't think that they were producing and playing as well up to their potential. He said they came in today knowing exactly what Shock was going to do, and they just weren't able to stop them. So congratulations to Shock. They will be moving on. Stay tuned. We'll have more matches coming up after the commercials.